this is Krystal, and thank you for joining me for this week's First Chapter Friday. Today, I will be reading from the beginning of Jeff Zentner's Colton Gentry's third act. This is the Rose City Book Club selection, and we also will be hosting this author in July 12th, with Brittany Cavallero, when they present their new book, Sunrise Nights. Chapter 1. May 2015, Charlotte, North Carolina. Colton Gentry is hurting, which lately means that he's drunk and very much so. Not a gentle buzz, but rather the kind of inebriation that involves spontaneous crying when you tell a friend how much they mean to you. The skin over your scarlet heart thin as a baby robin's. This wouldn't be a problem, but for his being on stage in front of a capacity crowd of almost 20,000 at PNC Music Pavilion in Charlotte, opening for Brant Lucas on his Dart Road Dance Party tour. Even this precarious combination wouldn't necessarily be a concern. Colton had certainly performed good shows while 4 sheets to the wind before, except that in his sightline is a ruddy-faced man, dark crescent moons of sweat under his armpits in the sultry, breezeless southern spring heat, trying to get his attention. The man is flipping him off with one hand and holding defiantly aloft in the other a Colt 45 t-shirt with an antique revolver silk-screened on it. It strikes Colton as mordantly funny that the guy paid $25 for one of his t-shirts only to taunt him with it. Before Colton had played a note of his set, the normally impatient tolerance that greets a stadium act's opener had yielded to something more weighted and hostile. It was nothing specific Colton could have pointed to until heckle tax-paying man, but the electricity in the air, a twinge in the part of his gut that's attuned to danger. 15 minutes, Colton. Brant Lucas's stage manager's terse voice, coming through Colton's in-ear monitors, startles him from his momentary stupor. He's only played a couple of songs and wasn't expecting the 15-minute warning so soon. No detail escapes the stage manager, and she's surely noticed Colton's bleary, unfocused gaze, slurred speech, and unsteady footing. And maybe she senses, too, that this crowd has it in for him. He decides it might be best if he doesn't study the concert-goers too closely for the remainder of his set. He and his band play another song to tepid, cursory applause. His short-lived resolution fails him as soon as he notices that another man has joined the t-shirt brandisher. He's holding high a crudely lettered sign that says, "From my cold dead hands." One of his warm, living hands has its middle finger extended to match his new compatriots. Magmatic fury surges perilously close beneath Colton's solar plexus. His face reddens. Sober, he'd be thinking, "Hey man, let's sit down together and crack a cold one, and I'll tell you about my buddy Dwayne and what he meant to me, and how shattered I am that he's gone. And we can put our loves on the scale and see whose outweighs whose." But Sober is back home, curled up on the couch, wearing a bathrobe and watching The Bachelor. And he is here. He draws a deep breath to try to calm himself. And if you would like to know what happens next, you can check this book out on the Libby app. I have read it and it is fantastic. Please join me here next week in 2 weeks, as I read from the beginning of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. This will be the kickoff to our summer reading theme of Adventures in Henry County. Thank you and have a great week.